The Kingdom of Hyrule seen in Breath of the Wild is the most expansive and largest we have ever seen it in any entry of the series. Due to its massive size, there are many secrets and locations hidden within its lush green landscapes, waiting to be discovered. Ruins of settlements once inhabited by the people of Hyrule prior to the Great Calamity, the devastating event that brought forth the destruction of the kingdom, are now scattered across the vast land. Ancient structures of the mysterious Sonai, a tribe of barbaric warriors that once made their home within the jungles of the Faron region, now merely remnants of the once great civilization. And the countless corpses of guardians, mechanical wonders constructed by the advanced Sheikah, once used against Calamity Ganon, now corrupted and turned against the kingdom they were meant to protect. Aside from man-made structures, the skeletal remains of ancient creatures that once roamed the lands of Hyrule, from the remains of giant leviathans on the edges of the kingdom to several bones of massive buried beasts protruding from the ground, now lay lifeless on the fields of the once powerful kingdom. One of these locations stands out from the rest, even receiving a name not only referring to the bones, but revealing the creature they belong to, Dragon Bone Mire. Located at the far western edge of the Tarantha frontier, Dragon Bone Mire lays under the shadow of Rito Village. What I propose in this theory is that the bones found on Dragon Bone Mire belong to none other than the great sky spirit Valoo, only seen during the Wind Waker, the game where the Rito themselves were first introduced into the series. During the Wind Waker, the great dragon Valoo was the guardian of the skies, alongside the great Deku Tree, guardian of the earth, and Jaboon, the guardian of the seas, tasked by the golden goddesses to protect the goddess pearls which would open the way to the Tower of the Gods, a trial that would test the hero's worth to wield the Master Sword. Valoo resided at the peak of Dragon Bruise Island, and was the patron deity of the Rito tribe, who made their home on the mountain. When the Rito came of age, Valoo would grant them one of his scales, allowing them to grow their wings. We know deities such as Valoo are not immortal. They can die like any other being in the world. We saw this with the great Deku Tree in Ocarina of Time, who died after being cursed by Ganondorf, the Thunder Dragon Loneiro from Skyward Sword, who became very sick and died, being saved by Link in the past with the use of the Light Tree fruit, and even the remains of the Spirit of the Sky Levias from Skyward Sword and the Windfish from Link's Awakening are found within Breath of the Wild, north of the Eldin Mountains, and forgotten in the sands of Gerudo Desert, respectively. As I mentioned on my previous theory, Breath of the Wild could take place at the end of any timeline, and there are many elements from one branch of the timeline that could appear on another. It is the same Hyrule, with the same people, ancestors, and history up to the timeless spirit of Ocarina of Time, which means that Valoo's ancestor would have existed before Ocarina of Time, and, as Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and A Link to the Past take place at the same time in different timelines, hundreds of years after Ocarina of Time, Valoo would exist in all of them, even though we may not directly see him. This applies to the Rito as well. A fraction of the Sora could have evolved into the Rito, which we know by that time during Twilight Princess they were present, as seen in the murals of Hyrule Castle, where they coexist with the Sora, just like in Breath of the Wild. By this logic, Melee would have existed during this time in every timeline. The Divine Beasts are each named after ancient sages of Hyrule. Varuta is named after Princess Ruto, the Sage of Water. Varudania is named after Goron Chief Darunia, the Sage of Fire. Vanaboris is named after the Gerudo warrior Naburu, the Sage of Spirits. And Vamedo is named after Medley, Valoo's apprentice attendant and Sage of Earth. Valoo would have coexisted alongside the Rito for generations, watching over them in Rito Village. However, Rito Village by that time would have been very different. I believe the rock pillar Rito Village is constructed around is an exposed volcanic plug. Volcanic plugs are the remnants of a volcano formed from the hardened volcanic magma within the vent of the active volcano. Due to their surrounding rock of the cone being less resistant to erosion than the plug, the plugs are often left exposed as tall pillars of volcanic rock. There are more volcanic plugs around the main spire within Lake Totori, which in itself would have served as the caldera of the volcano, just as we see with Death Mountain, explaining how it's almost perfectly circular in shape. This would mean that at one point, the area where Rito Village now stands was a volcano, the second biggest volcano in all of Hyrule, second of course to Death Mountain. We could call this volcano Dragon Roost Mountain, in reference to Dragon Roost Island from the Wind Waker, as it is safe to assume that Valoo would have made his home atop the peak of the mountain, similar to how Vah Meadow is now perched atop the overhang of the spire. But a more fitting name for this mountain would be Mount Totori, the name now remaining in the lake, the remnant of the caldera. The existence of Valoo during this time would also explain the origin of the Rito in Breath of the Wild. We are never directly explained in detail how the Sora evolved into the Rito. We assume it's because of the Great Flood, but, as mentioned before, Rito exists in a child timeline too. I believe that it was Valoo's scales that had the magical property to transform them into the Rito. His scales are the main factor that allowed them to grow their wings. Why would they need scales of a sky dragon to grow their wings? Because it was Valoo who transformed them into the Rito in the first place. It wouldn't be the first time that a race evolved into another due to the influence of a guardian deity. In Hyrule Encyclopedia, it is stated that the Kokiri, the children of the forest, were once Hylian, transformed into the Kokiri by the power of the Great Deku Tree. This will make the Rito the children of the sky, the children of Valoo. Valoo would eventually die due to natural causes, a disease similar to the standard dragon Lanayru, or killed by a beast such as Goma from the Wind Waker. Whatever the reason may be, his body will fall from the side of the volcano, where his remains will be remembered as Dragon Bone Mire. The Rito would then evolve to not need his scales anymore to fly, learning of a way to fly on their own. However, they were still limited. As stated by the Rito warrior Teba, the Rito can only fly forwards, but are unable to fly upwards, requiring the use of updrafts to lift them to the sky, which is why Teba trained every day to master the skill that the Rito champion Revali mastered that allowed him to create updrafts on command, Revali's Gale. What did you think of this theory? Did you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for videos like this one. Also, consider following me on Twitter and Instagram at Zelda Lore 86. This has been Zelda Lore, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.